Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, across the world on planet Earth. Greetings to you. So, I thought I'll do a video after being abstinent for a while now. I've been into deep study mode. I've got my notebooks, I've got some good books. Yeah, that man, controlled opposition. Well, there's a lot of those also out there. Um, However, I thought I'll do a video, and it came spontaneously to me because, and I'll jump right into the slides. Okay, this is about a little bit something more creative. I like to the difference to navigating the Matrix, episode 7, part 1 that I'm still working on. Okay, this is the information alchemist. Okay, that's what I would like to describe myself as. Information alchemy. Okay, distilling the essence of information and looking closely. What is the most hidden information? What do Satanists not like me to talk about? Okay, those who want power over others, and that's what I will talk about. And this is also, in this video, I want to dive in a little bit into a portal of reality. I want to do some dot connecting on law and reality. Do they have something in common? The levels of jurisdiction and the higher levels of jurisdiction are not taught at universities. When you study law, you won't hear about them, and go deeper into the realm of natural law, the realm of natural order, where personal, private, individual sovereignty is the very basis. Okay, so in systems of control, you won't hear about that, but you hear about that on this channel here, on the Gnostic Takeover. And until I've got episode 7 done, part 1 done, it's gonna be quite a beauty. I'll just do things like this and be a little bit creative because I need to get more into the flow of talking about these concepts, because I've got my big day on the 29th of July, so I need to get into the swing of things. I've got a court case on the 29th of July, as well as a press conference that I will do 2 days before. So I'll jump into the slides, okay, and the pictures are gonna give a little bit of inspirational, and the energy is also going to flow into the right hemisphere of your brain, okay, which deals in pictures. That's why I like to use pictures to explain concepts and ideas. So that was the inspiration to do this video. I am being bombarded with fines right now, okay, every single day. Most of the time I'm waking up to the fact that, again, I'm being fined for speaking out about tyranny and about this oppression. That's what happens. That's the sort of thank you that you get for doing the work, for doing the great work. But it's fine. It shows that we're getting somewhere. Okay, it's just another fine. Yeah, fine. It makes me remember you're finite and I'm infinite. Great. So you want another fine? That's fine. Okay, makes me remember that those people are finite. That's all they've got. So this are the characters of the stage, the world stage, as people might remember from Shakespeare. All the world's a stage, and they are the frontline actors, and they ain't doing that good a job, right? And all they've got is one gear. Okay, that's the modus operandi that they have. They only have that one gear, which is pressure, pressure, pressure. And therefore, let's fine those activists who have got who do not consent and will never consent with the agenda of control. And so we put on pressure, pressure, pressure. Look at these people. Do they look like they're in alignment with the natural order? Or are they the frontline Truman Show characters of a control system? Yeah, and that's what we're up against, okay? These are the sort of people that all they can do is they want to punish you for being different, okay? For not abandoning your freedoms for free, okay, and going along. So all they can do is put pressure. So what does the eagle do? The eagle view, the overview, flies above anything, any boundary, any containment that you want to put someone into, or where you want to put me into. The eagle just flies above. That's what I mean with integrating the forces of nature within us, as they are energies, okay? And with this video here today, I want to talk about portal, okay? I want to talk about a portal to reality, because are we entering into a new reality? Are we changing reality? Is the applied pressure on me, for example, as an activist, is that an indication that those actors on the political stage are feeling the pressure themselves, and they want to put the pressure onto those underneath them in this hierarchical matrix pyramid? But there's some people who just won't take it. So I want to share openly that when I get these letters, I've got this nice slide here from our great friend, who's for me a great symbol of I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna do my thing anyway. I'm free and I'm ready to even give my life for freedom, because there is no death. That is the grand illusion. And if I face death in my lifetime, there's nothing to stop me, because I ain't afraid of anything. And it's fear that drives all of your actions. That's why you apply pressure on those activists speaking out about your agenda of total control. And your driving force is fear. But that ain't my driving force. It's a beautiful symbol, our dear friend Bill Hicks. I don't give a fuck, mate. I'm here for freedom. And I like to pull up this picture. Oh, another fine. You're finite, I'm infinite. Because that's what's important to grasp. Don't take these people too serious, okay? And there needs to be a confrontation now. I'd like to just talk with these people, but they want a confrontation, and I'm ready to give it to them in a peaceful way. I'm all about being peaceful, but I've got Jedi mind tricks too. Not only Satanists have got mind tricks and these archontic overlords who like to trick our minds and trick us psychologically. Remember, all of this we're involved in is a psychological game, and this whole scam that's going on is psychological warfare. Therefore, pressure, 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 and we need to face that. So what I wanted to say is I am relaxed about these fines. I'm confident in my approach, which I'm going to describe. However, sometimes panic also comes to me, and I feel fear in what I'm doing. But then breakdown is breakthrough. That's what I've been going through the last week. There's fear coming up. It's like, what am I doing? This is crazy what I'm doing. Yes, because it's outside of the norm. Because when you only ever always do the known, okay, then you'll always repeat the same experiences. But when you want to live in freedom, you have to move into the unknown. And that is what creates fear. But when you face that fear, and that's the experience I wanted to share with you today, is because I got another fine, okay, and they want to send an executioner, okay, executor, it's called in Austria, execution in English, but it's probably a different wording, wanting to take away my possessions for not complying, for breathing oxygen. Because all these fines are because I don't comply with these criminal, and I'll get into that, with this criminal law that the Covidian cult wants to implement as normal. Okay? And I feel that fear, but when I transcend that fear, I feel alive. And that's what I wanted to share with you in this video. I feel more alive because I have a court case, because they're coming for me, which means I'm doing something right. Let's move on in the slides. And that's the portal to reality, okay, that I want to share. Are we moving into a new reality, or are we transforming the one we're in right now? This is something that I will use often if it ever comes to fruition. Navigating the Matrix episode 7 part 1. Let's see about that. It's been bloody hard, but everything has its time. I've been trying my best. And what I'm going to share a lot are slides in between with the Renegade Maverick perception. Because part 1 is going to be called the Renegade perception of the Renegade Maverick. I'm renaming it. Sharing exactly those perceptions of freedom. Okay, that's what a Renegade Maverick is all about. And the Renegade Maverick asks, is this real life? I mean, is this real what we're experiencing? What? You want me to run around with this mask? I mean, what's the next thing? Should I wear a costume? Or should I put the COVID tests up my bollocks or what? I mean, where is this going to end? Okay, this is insanity in an insanity asylum. This is how this world is looking like every single day, and that's just the start. And the Renegade Maverick asks, is this real life? Is this real? And most are still stuck in this, what I like to call the news matrix. Okay? There's news on the media, and there's news on the alternative media. And what's being projected onto any screen, be it a smartphone, your laptop, or any computer device, is COVID, 5G, Agenda 2030, or whatever you want to put on there. The last thing that I've seen more is about graphene, okay, and all these things are important to know. However, when you only stay stuck in that cave, we won't get anywhere. We want to get out of this cave, okay? And those are different realities, okay? The reality of the cave and the reality out of the cave. That's why the Renegade Maverick asks, is this real life? No, it's not. It's life in the cave. We're in that prison. And it's time we got out. How do we do that? Sharing the information about freedom, the principles of freedom. And this picture here, that's also different realities. Okay. In the cave, it's true. All these things that are being projected in the news matrix of any media, and this is just healthy critique of the alternative media that I'm trying to present here, because I've become aware of it. Most people are distracted by the shadow projections on the wall of the alternative media, but we need to move our awareness to the bigger picture of what it's really about, and it's about freedom and knowing about the principles of freedom. Freedom is based on the truth, and the truth is based on the principles of the natural order. We need to be talking about that instead of COVID, 5G, Agenda 2030, those control freaks, masks, tests. We should be talking about the principles of freedom. What is the matrix? How do we get out of the matrix? Why are we in the matrix? How do we get out? How do we transform reality? How are we projecting reality? How does our observation of reality and our input and output of reality, how does that influence the collective, the whole? So yes, it's true, but we're still staying in the cave. Getting out of the cave is a different dimension. It's a different reality, which here is in 3D, and the other two, the circle and the square, are in 2D. So you're on a higher plane, a higher level of awareness when you get to the bottom of things and you get to the truth, and that is a journey. The Renegade Maverick Perception asks, what is the nature of reality? That's what I'll be getting into episode 7. That's why it's difficult to put together, because there's so much I want to put in there. The first attempt that I did, I just had loads of slides, and I'm like, I'll be sitting for 3 hours. So I again have to alchemize, I have to synthesize that information. But that's what I will be getting into much deeper than even in this video, because that's the ultimate question. What is the nature of reality? And if it were true that we, as a sentient being, as an expression of life force energy that is a holographic representation of the source from which all life force energy originates, all of it, if we're an expression of that, we might be we as an individual, every single one of us would be the center of all existence. All power to manifest change would lie with us, the individual, the sovereign being that we are. That would be the center of not only the universe but the multiverse. Would that be the single one thing that satanic control freaks wouldn't want us to know? There's a very good chance that that is so. We're dealing with the highest level of knowledge beyond what is taught in the strictly compartmentalized structures of the secret society network in the background, for which these people, actors, bad actors, shall I say, have no clue about this knowledge. They don't even ask these questions. They're just doing their job and hope they can get away with it. So with this highest level of knowledge and asking these questions, what is the nature of reality? You might get answers. And those terms which Nikola Tesla is often quoted on are the principles through which we can walk through the portal to actual reality. In the Hermetic tradition, the original reality, okay, the foundational reality was also always called substantial reality. The question is always, what is original and what is a copy of the original? And that's the grand questions of existence. That's the grand questions of philosophy. Okay? What is reality? In which reality do we exist? Is the reality that I can observe and experience, is this an original reality? Or is it an artificial reality? A copy of a reality, a matrix, that is based on a system. And if we want to go through this portal of reality, we need the foundational principles. So, in my understanding of 13 years of research, the nature of reality is the single most important subject we need to be focusing on, instead of the news matrix. What's new? What's new? What's new? It's an agenda for total technological enslavement that has been preceded by enslavement of our perceptions. End of. Now, what is the nature of reality? How do we create reality to change? Not just a little bit and a little thing, so we don't have to wear the masks anymore. No, let's transform reality to total freedom. Let's go for everything, because they have gone for everything. The enemies of life have gone for everything, have declared war on us, on our species, and we have to use that as leverage to implement freedom on this planet. That is our destiny, and everything else is a distraction. Talk about a rabbit hole and being lost in the rabbit hole of the news matrix. That's why Gnostic Intel is very present here on this channel. Coming to Tesla. If you wish to find the secrets of the universe, which is what a Gnostic's intention is to do, is philosophy, finding out about the fundamentals of existence and why we are here. And if we wish to find out the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. That reality is not solid, but based on energy, frequency, and vibration. And then it becomes malleable. Then it becomes something where we can change the dial of the radio and switch to a new station. So we head right to the point here, okay? The 21st century. And since 2020 we've got this crisis, and there's this date that keeps being repeated. all across the news, in quotations, and in the agenda that is being implemented. 2030. And the Covidian cult declared war, complete war. There was war already before, and there has been war constantly ever since the ending of the Second World War, if we take that as a reference point. There's been constant war. However, on the Western countries, total war was declared through at the beginning of 2020. Okay? And it's an imposition of artificial reality. The 21st century is all about the fourth industrial revolution. This is also something I will be getting into episode 7. How does it relate to the industrial revolution and the beginnings of mega corporations, okay, that go way back to that, and the implementation of the class structure, this pyramidical structure of society, the class structure that is most exemplified in places like England, for example. Okay, it's very deep in the culture there, class structure. Where does that come from? And it's all pyramidical. These are the foundational concepts of this artificial matrix reality. 5G, microwave radiation. And that's something to ponder upon, okay, that people are running around like robots, okay. But when you consider that, according to Professor Olle Johansson of the Karolinska Institute in Sweden, used to be at the Karolinska Institute in Sweden, and because he was doing the right thing, he was kicked out from that institute. I got to know him personally also when I was in Croatia for 3 days. I had a very good time with him and talked with him. He's been an expert on microwave radiation for 40 years, and he says that the levels of radiation we're exposed to is 1 quadrillion times above natural background radiation, which is 10 with 18 zeros. What is that going to do with humanity? Well, I think we can see the results of it with this obedient robotic behavior that you can observe in the world today. And when it comes to microwave radiation, the single one thing we need to focus on most when it comes to the imposition and taking away freedom for all of humanity, for totalitarian systems, the single one thing we need to look out for with microwave radiation is its effect on the mind and its usage in mind control. So you've got it's actually 1 quintillion with 18 zeros, a 10 with 18 zeros. Now that's going to have a massive influence on the mind, and that's why the masses are sleeping, okay? It's an imposition of artificial reality. 5G is the medium through which they want to create a reality within. They want to create a simulation within the simulation we're experiencing. Okay, a total new reality in which they are gods, or they pretend to be gods. This is under the system of a totalitarian system that goes by the name of technocracy. And it's a system within a system. The same as this artificial reality that they're creating with these microwave frequencies. Remember, when you think of the universe, or when you think in terms of reality, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. With these artificial, technologically generated frequencies, microwave frequencies, they're trying to create an artificial reality as was portrayed in the Matrix movie. They want to log us into that and create a system within a system in which they are gods. A real Satanist, okay, is someone like he is. But he's also in the public arena. He's also just an actor. There's much higher powers in the background, and they're in the background for a reason, because I think they're afraid of those who suss the highest level of knowledge and actually checkmate them. This is what they want. Imposition of artificial reality, and they've all got the glasses on. And he's smiling. A real Satanist, like he is also, okay, due to his ideology, and that's how all these so-called elite families are brought up since childhood. They're brought up with the idea, with the ideology, that they are an uber class to us, okay? That they have the moral right to be in the highest strata of this control pyramid and dictate to us what we have to do. And a real Satanist is someone who wants to become God. I am God in this realm. And if I'm not God in this realm, which we're experiencing right now, I'm gonna create a world. I'm gonna create an artificial reality. And have everyone put on those glasses. And then I'm God over them. It's an imposition. But they can't force you. They have to entice you, as we're going to see. But you see, what happens when you don't wear the Matrix glasses? What happens if you do not give your consent? And when you say the lost word, which is no, they can't do it. They can't do it with you. And in the notice of liability that I sent to the, I gave it to him directly, personally, which you can see on my YouTube account. Watch the video, Notice of Liability Action, from a few months ago. You can see, and you can see the whole press conference underneath. It's in the video description below. Gave a notice of liability, President of Austria, you're privately liable, okay, for a genocide through COVID-19. This is all illegal under the system, because the system is an insurance system, but with the beginning of 2020, they created a system within a system called technocracy. You see the difference? The system itself is neutral. It's the organizational element of reality. Okay, we're in this realm. Things need to be managed. Things need to be organized. Otherwise, it's chaos. So therefore, we organize things. And therefore, government should actually be the management of infrastructure, not of human beings. That's why you need a proper education system. Because if human beings are left to their own, we'd realize that we're a copy. We are, no, not a copy, we're an expression of the source that creates all things and is the source of all life force energy, based on pure intelligence, natural intelligence, infinite creativity. So we educate the human beings and we can express ourselves and live life. A system is the organizational element. That's all. It's neutral, and it's an insurance system. Everything has to be insured. Things happen. Someone cocks up, yeah, good, okay. So you compensate. In monetary terms, for example. You didn't fulfill the promise that you made, okay, so you compensate in monetary terms. It's an insurance system. But the thing is, what people need to get, and they did it in all levels of the society, they created a system within a system which runs under criminal law. We can do whatever we want because we are gods. That's also the root word for jurisdiction. Comes from jus juris, which means law, and diction means to dictate, comes also from the Italian word dicere, which means to speak. So we own the jurisdiction. We, the powerful elite, we own the jurisdiction. Because we speak law. We make law. We make whatever law we want. And we don't have to take any responsibility for the harm that we cause because of that. That's how they think. That's their psychology, not mine. It's their psychology, because they want to be gods. So what happens when you don't wear the matrix glasses? And what happens? It's that you start to decode not the artificial reality, not the information contained within the artificial frequencies, the microwave radiation, okay? These frequencies are encoded with information, and it's information on mind control. Subordinate. Obey my orders. I am God to you. If you don't wear those glasses that they offer to you, you're getting information transmissions of the natural internet, which is filled with intelligence of how to take wannabe gods down who think they can intersect and hijack all of creation and the earth, totally take over the earth and make it to a prison. Well, let's see how the living intelligent organism of the earth thinks about that. And then we as human beings, this is the Gnostic message of all ages. Actually, it's the most suppressed message from my research, and it makes a whole lot of sense. The most suppressed message of the Gnostics is that we as human beings are not a virus. No, we are not a virus on this planet and toward this planet. Actually, we are in a co-evolutionary relationship with the planet. And that she, the planetary intelligence, can work most effectively with those human beings who get those information transmissions of her natural internet and then act according to this information. That's the real hidden information that they don't want you to know one bit about that. They don't want you to know one bit. And it is the highest level of knowledge. That's why they slaughtered the Gnostics. That's how you can connect the dots. Why they slaughtered them, why they slaughtered the indigenous cultures throughout history, and why they're going for the indigenous cultures now in Europe. They don't want this information because it changes reality, which they want to impose on us and everyone. And everyone who doesn't follow these orders is gonna get pressure. But just keep going and you'll end up finding out what real power is, and that there's not only dark forces in Plato's cave. Oh, yeah, let's hope for the best. And Cyber Polygon is gonna hit. And yeah, nonsense. Awakening is a journey. And we need to dig deep, go deep. Okay, and the deeper we go, it's a spiral function. Okay, this is what I've also explained yesterday in the text that I wrote in the Telegram group of the Gnostic Takeover. It's a spiral function, the awakening. And it's like Tesla also said, you find out the secrets of the universe with the sequence 369. You have a key to the universe. And 6 and 9 are very similar numbers, and the 6 spirals you down. It's the material number. That's why beehives also create in hexagrams. Okay, their nets, don't know how they're called right now, but it's hexagrams. Okay, and the hexagram is the most stable geometry that exists. So there's nothing wrong with the 666. Actually, I'm gonna take it back. It's mine. That's my 666. Yes, and I'm taking everything back. How about that? Well, how about this only being the only solution to the crisis we have? I'm gonna take everything away from you, dark occultists. And what are you gonna do about that? It belongs to all of humanity. How does your claim of ownership stand up when you don't own me because I'm not getting the jab? The mRNA that changes my DNA and makes me a patent. Not gonna do that. So therefore I have a direct relationship with the source of all life that created you also. So what's your claim of ownership? Huh? Silence from these wannabe gods. Awakening is a journey, yeah, and what I wanted to say, the 6 is what pulls you down. It manifests material. It also grounds. It's grounding, okay? But also the deeper you go down, the more you go up also. It's like a tornado. 6 and the 9 on the basis of the Trinity. 369. So therefore this... Sometimes when I get fines, I also am confronted with fear, but then I go down and I go up also. Life is in motion all the time. And that's how we get true power, by facing our fears. Okay? The best solution to a problem is to remove the cause of the problem. The cause of the problem that we have in the world is that we don't face our fears, because this entire system is based on fear. And truth versus belief. That's what we're up against. If it ain't truth, and if it's not based on truth, it is a belief system. And the key question that I asked myself is, how does law correspond with reality? Are those two linked? Okay, when we go back, okay, to Tesla. The secrets of the universe, energy, frequency, and vibration. Could it be that when we believe, okay, when we believe in law, that these gods, okay, these also powerful individuals, because it's now, we've got a situation where corporations dictate the laws that governments govern by, are dictated by corporations on all levels in life. We've gone beyond that laws basically are contracts. Okay, they don't care about that contracts need to have insurance also, and talk about liability, who takes the liability when damages are caused. Those gods don't think about, oh no, we never have to take responsibility for that. It's the corporations, the multinational corporations, that dictate to government which laws they need to have, and then we call it TTIP. Then we call it Agenda 2030. CETA, what happened with all these international, multinational corporations that run the European Union and dictate laws? That is a communist, fascist institution, and that's the reason why Europe is falling apart, because you've got only this super state, the European Union, that ties into the United Nations world government, and it all runs on the contracts. And contracts need your consent. So what happens when you do not consent? Could it be that's how law corresponds with reality? When you do not consent to this new law in this technocratic system that is a system within a system, a bubble within a bubble, could it be that when you do not give your consent, you're not on that frequency and vibration of that artificial reality, and therefore they can't get to you? And that's why they need to put you under pressure to get your consent. That probably is what is going on, and that's why I'm making this video, to explain to you why I'm under pressure, and that I won't take on the pressure that they're feeling, because they're the ones committing genocide to the human race and are running a live experiment with incredible damages caused and harm caused through these fake mRNA vaccines. This is what these elite our family offsprings learn, is Edward Bernays, political sciences, public relations, mass psychology, how to manipulate the masses, because we are the uber class to the public. That's how they think about us. However, when we have access again to the knowledge that they don't want us to have access, you level the playing field. It's all about propaganda. This world is the world of Bernays that we live in. Propaganda. Only one narrative. Everything that is outside of that frame of narrative is, by definition, wrong, because we are gods and we are always right, and the system within a system is always right. The executive arm of the invisible government. What is the executive arm? It's your mind. It's mind control. That's the executive arm, is knowing about the psychology of the masses and about your psychology. Knowing about how you tick. That's the executive arm of the invisible government. Don't have to mention any institution names. Can do. The Tavistock Institute, MK Ultra program, mind control. That's why they're wearing the muzzles. Social distancing, it all comes from the CIA. They know what they're doing. And through programming a certain normal, that already has been propaganda. All the wars that we have in the world, what you learn in the education system, what your parents taught you, what the world is, that programming puts you on a certain level of energy, frequency and vibration. You accept a certain belief system that this is how the world is, and that those people have more power than you and they can dictate your life. So you subordinate to that belief system and those corporations that make up the laws that governments implement criminally, because they don't take the liability, as for example with the jab program. They don't take the liability for damages caused, and you subordinate to that belief system that they're allowed to do that, and you end up in that reality because you subordinate to their will, to their criminality, and to their energy, frequency, and vibration. You end up in that reality, and that's why law corresponds with reality, and that's why law, this criminal law that our lives have been run under since the beginning of this crisis in 2020, that's why in this belief system they're pushing this propaganda, and they are bringing us into this manufactured reality that they wish to control as gods. This is a quote from Bernays, the engineering of consent. I talk about this all the time in the videos, the importance of consent. Okay, because when we are all vibrating on a certain level, our state of being, energy, frequency, and vibration, I vibrate on this level, and those politicians are on a very dense frequency. That's why it's a little bit too difficult for me to think low, slow vibration. Whereas when you're on a quick vibration, you can bust out of their bubble where they have control over you, because you don't subordinate, because you don't give your consent to any belief system. And the only thing we have to ask is, what is not a belief system? Even in shamanism that I'm interested in and that I study, and I want to do proper shamanic work, boy oh boy, there's a lot of ideology there and a lot of fake people around. Let me tell you. Whew. That's why they need your consent, because that's in law. When you consent to that belief system, what you have to do, you're under their jurisdiction. And it's even got to the point now where, and it's going to be interesting what's going to happen on the 29th of July, they only got jurisdiction over you when you're actually wearing the mask. Only then have they got jurisdiction over you. When you don't wear the mask, you refuse and you say, no, I breathe oxygen. Then you can't even enter the courtroom. What are they going to judge me on? Okay, nothing if I'm not even present. Alright, back to Bernays. He said, the engineering of consent is the very essence of the democratic process, the freedom to persuade and suggest. You see, it's about persuading you, suggest to you, make suggestions, put you into a suggestible state, which is the basis for hypnosis and mind control. And they have to engineer your consent. You need to give them consent, because otherwise they do not control your frequency and you're not inside their matrix artificial reality bubble. I'm so happy to finally be able to use this slide, because I've been waiting a long time to finally use it. The program of artificial reality, the matrix that they want to maneuver us into, the simulation within a simulation. Okay, they need to have your perception in barriers, in a wall, in a frequency barrier, in a wall, and then use the word law and reverse it. It's walls of perception. And we need law to regulate society. We actually need to be teaching people about how real law actually works and how it relates to the root of all law, which is natural law and the natural order. That's what we should be teaching people. But what we have as law is what is being dictated by multinational corporations like Amazon, Google, Facebook, and all of these Silicon Valley's technocratic, totalitarian, dystopian monopolies. They are the ones that own governments. Because when you look it up in a chart, okay, the top 100 enterprises in this world ain't countries anymore. It's multinational corporations that have formed monopolies. And that's why we are ending up in technocracy, because they're the ones who are running the show. And that's where we can get them when it comes to law. And root law again to the natural order, which you do by telling them the system, because they're creating a system within a system. You tell them what the system is. It's based on contract, can only be so. Because everything is already organized because of the natural order. Look up the principles of natural law, the principle of correspondence, the principle of mentalism, the principle of cause and effect, the principle of gender, the principle of polarity, and so on. Look it up. Those are the principles that these Satanists don't want us to know about. Because everything is based on that foundation. A Satanist is someone who hides the building blocks of knowledge before you even get to knowledge. There's building blocks. If you haven't got access to those building blocks, you'll see Freemasons build their new world order and move you around the chess field without you even knowing that there is a chess field, because you're only a pawn in the game. That's how we get them with law. And the system is based on contracts, and everything has to be insured, and those people are not insured for what they do. And the prime question is, who takes liability? Are you responsible for all the harm that you cause? And that's where we get the pyramid of liability and the system shachmat, the checkmate. The currency of this upright pyramid, it's a symbol of the masculine archetype, okay, the masculine energy. It's the upright pyramid. And that currency of that artificial matrix reality runs on money. Now you can pay off anyone with money because they own the monetary system. That's how it works. And it's pyramidically structured. They impose their agenda deep from the shadows, and the responsibility is always put to those ignorant masses, okay? Like me, ignorant masses. But then you gain access to the highest levels of knowledge about the matrix, about the natural order. You start talking about it, you learn, and through sharing with other human beings like you, I'm putting this knowledge that I've learned into effect. And that sharing this knowledge, through that I embody this knowledge more in my being. You have something from it. I have something from it because I embody this knowledge even more now. And then I move forward in action. I get confidence because I keep speaking about it. And that's how creation works. That's why they don't want us to speak. It all runs under this pyramid system. Oh, and let's put the responsibility onto those we are actually wanting to cull. They want to cull the human population, and at the same time they're so, that's why a Satanist is so perverted. They cull the population and want the population also to take the responsibility for the cull that they instigate. Doesn't get sicker than that. That's why I study the psychology of these people, because then I know what I never want to be. I will never be like that. And study the enemy according to Sun Tzu, the art of war. When you know the enemy, when you know yourself, you will defeat the enemy without a single battle with physical weapons needed. Danke. Thank you. And how does this upright pyramid come into balance? Through a 180-degree angle twist of the pyramid. The downward pyramid, which I call the pyramid of sovereignty and the power of the one. Because it starts with the one. And you insert that, okay? So you insert that here, and you get here, this. So you pull the downward pyramid, you've got this upright pyramid, okay? And this downward pyramid. You pull it right down, you pull the downward pyramid, this one, pull it right down to the base of the upright pyramid, and then you move the responsibility up the levels. You thought you had enough intellect to pull off this scam and enslave all of us by hiding this information. Oh, you want more and more power, take over the whole world without taking responsibility. When this upright pyramid runs under money and the command and control structure to all levels of the pyramid, you have to obey. No, I won't. So what are you going to do? Nothing. And that is the power of the one. Because as I said, you put that downward pyramid and it makes, that's the currency of the natural order. It puts, because that's the basis of all creation. It's the basis of the natural order is responsibility. Who'd have guessed? Everyone is responsible, and you won't get away with it, and no one will get away with it, because it is the natural order. You're responsible for your own lives. And you will have to face the mirror, because that's what they've been hiding. These satanic priests and this whole cult has been hiding behind this pyramid, this wall, their criminal law, from having to face that responsibility. But through the downward pyramid we can push it up. That's the currency from the bottom up instead of top down. Control, bottom up, sovereignty, freedom, and true power. True power, which is knowledge enacted. Sovereignty, that's the basis of the one, the power of the one. I'm sovereign. I was born sovereign. The energy that's flowing through my being, a transmission of the earth, also a sovereign being, much more powerful than you, parasites. I, in my sovereignty, am independent of everything outside of myself. Everything outside of myself cannot get to my sovereignty. You cannot take that innate, fundamental principle that my being is based on, and that is the hardcore most Hidden information is that we are sovereign. No one has any ownership over us. No one will ever own me. And that is why I am going to win this war together with every one of you out there of the human family. We're going to win because this is what the natural order is based on. My sovereignty. My expression of the power of the one, which we all are. The one power of the one and only source. That force. That's what we are. That's what they can't handle. And that's why they put on pressure. Because they're losing the battle. And it's only just about to kick off. Isn't it great to have a solution? And isn't it great to actually also say that you have a solution, which is based on absolute truth? That's the portal to reality that I meant. And this message speaks to you. What do you make of that principle? I'm just sharing with you my take on things. With those same principles, you can have a different view of reality, which is the very reason why it's great that we're all individuals. That's the portal of reality and to reality. And that is a different dimension of truth, away from the news matrix where everything is true. Yeah, it's true. Okay. But the truth is on another dimension, and that's where we want to get to. When we learn the cause of the problem and solve the cause of the problem ceases to exist. That's the equilibrium of the matrix. Upward and downward pyramid. The equilibrium of the matrix, the natural order. One of the hermetic principles. The principle of gender. That's why they attack the genders. Gender fluid. Because the Satanist and this satanic cult is at war with humanity. But most important, they are at war with the principles of natural law. They're at war with the natural order. They know. These satanic cults know about the natural order. They know about the principles of natural law, but they try to use it for manipulation purposes and hide that information from us. When we have access to that highest level of information, we level the playing field. That's the power of this knowledge. That's why I share it, and I have a moral duty to share this. And that's then what our perception is away from this limited perception, the walls, the prison we were born in and that we were programmed with was a prison of perception, which they then now want to translate into this artificial reality. And those walls, and that's what I get deeply into, navigating the matrix with natural law principles. Episode 7, part 1. It will happen. It will happen. I'll get much deeper into how we go from that to that. The reality of freedom. It's all a mind game. It's all based on perception. And I'll go much deeper into the fundamentals of perception. That's going to be fantastic. We have it all inside of us. That's where we're getting. That's why they're most afraid of, because we're gonna tell them how it is. Because when you vibrate on a much, much higher frequency than they are on a low frequency, they have to listen to you. You're the change you want to see in the world. Forget about QAnon, forget about all of them, forget about all of this nonsense. It only happens through you, it only happens through me. The matrix level of reality is a trinity of victim, perpetrator, savior, bonding. When you wait for a savior outside, I'm not your savior. I love the saying, I'm not going to give you a fish, I'm going to teach you how to fish. That's a true teacher. And that's what I do. That's what this is all about. We're on a journey. And we are facing this crisis for a reason. I don't like these people one bit. However, they're our greatest teachers. It's the truth. Those bloodline families, they all run under private. We share all our data freely and they can use that data and make profiles of us. They're all private. They're all individuals. Okay? There's things we can learn. They can travel all around. They can look at the world. They can do anything they want at any time. I want that too. So I'll learn from them. Check out their Achilles heel, which is liability. Okay, and that's how we're going to get them eventually. And learn from them. And then we learned the lesson that we need to learn, which is to become sovereign. It's time. The corona is the crown. Time to put it up and not be enslaved by it anymore. Alright, I know these are amazing times, and I also sometimes freak out. Okay, food shortages, all sorts of things going on. I know, I'm aware of these. I'm also, okay, I'm often in Plato's cave too, but get the freaking hell out of that cave. What is the nature of reality? That's what we talk here. And we'll go much deeper. How do we change perception? It's coming soon, part 1. You can look forward to that, and this input doing this video will probably make me complete part 1 soon. Every action makes you move forward. Thank you for listening. You can support my work. Links are underneath. Become a Patreon supporter. I've lost quite a few patrons, unfortunately. But if you have trust in my work, if you have trust in me, that I do the right thing, I can only be myself and share what I know for free with you. If you want to support me, that would be absolutely lovely. And thank you to everyone who's shared so kindly. For example, thank you to Cheryl at this point. Thank you so much for your very kind donation. This keeps me going. And I love all of you guys. Thank you, everyone on the Gnostic Takeover group. The lovely support that I get on the Telegram group. The link is also below. Have a lovely day, and remember, there is more than hope, because we're getting to the bottom of this, and they're escalating things because they're under pressure and they want to put the pressure onto us, just like with the responsibility. They're trying to move it down the pyramid. We make the downward pyramid and move it up there. Keep your pressure. Okay? We're taking the planet back.